The theme music faded out, replaced by silence thick enough to taste. I leaned into the mic. My breath hissed through the foam as the red live light pulsed softly in the corner of my vision. "All right, folks," I said, my voice smooth and low. "I promised you something special, something raw. You're about to hear the final interview of convicted murderer Thomas Heller, unreleased, uncensored, and unforgettable." Right on cue, Jamie's voice came through, urgent, off mic. "Eric, you seriously playing the whole tape?" I glanced over at him, couldn't help the smirk tugging at the corner of my mouth. He looked nervous. Good. That meant we were pushing boundaries. "We're already live," I whispered back, leaning away from the mic. "Come on, Jamie. This is the kind of stuff people beg for. Real horror, real tragedy. They want it." Jamie didn't let it go. "She begged us not to," he said, his voice taut. "Her sister emailed you 3 times. I shrugged, tone going cold. My fingers hovered over the cue button. "Then maybe she shouldn't have let her sister date a psycho," I snapped. "Cue it up." The tape cut out. Silence hit the studio like a wave. Not even the hum of the monitors seemed to exist anymore. Jamie's voice finally broke through, quieter now. "Jesus, why'd you leave the scream in?" I leaned back, grin widening. "Because it's viral, Jamie. Trending in 12 minutes. And guess what?" I tapped the screen. "We just hit 100,000 listeners, live." He didn't smile. He looked disturbed, eyes narrowed behind his glasses, hand resting on the mixer like it might bite him. "That scream," he said, almost whispering. It didn't sound like it came from the tape. I heard it again, just now, in my headphones, a second one. I laughed, couldn't help it. "You're spooked," I told him. "You spend too much time in this bunker of a studio." "No, Eric." His tone shifted, earnest. The waveform changed, mid-broadcast. That shouldn't happen unless someone's manipulating it in real time. Or, I cut him off. "Jamie, it's a ghost tape now. Go write that in the episode title." He looked like he wanted to argue, but then something shifted on his screen. His face drained. "Eric," he said slowly. "There's something else. The scream? It's synced with a timestamp. Same minute, same second. Your wife's phone pinged the hospital ERI froze." "What?" My voice felt wrong in my throat. "Number that can't be right. She's at home," I answered without thinking. "Hello?" I said. A pause. "What do you mean, accident?" Jamie turned toward me slowly, eyes wide. He didn't need to say anything. I already knew. I held the phone tighter than I meant to. My knuckles had gone white. On the other end, a woman's voice came through. Professional, calm, but it hit me like a freight train. "Mr. Vale, your wife was found unconscious at the bottom of the staircase. Paramedics said she might have fallen or jumped. We're still assessing." I couldn't breathe for a second. "Fallen?" I echoed, my voice thinner than I expected. She was just texting me before I went live. She said she was making tea." I paused. Did she say anything?" There was a hesitation. That kind of silence where you know the next words are going to change things. She kept whispering something about a scream, over and over. "Make it stop, she's screaming." "Does that mean anything to you?" The call ended. I didn't even remember hanging up. My hand just lowered the phone on its own. Across from me, Jamie sat still. "She heard it too," he said softly. "No." I turned toward him, suddenly on edge. "No way. You think a sound from a podcast made her fall down the stairs?" Jamie leaned forward, eyes locked on mine. "I think something is trying to finish the story you just opened," he said. "And we're all in it now." Jamie spoke under his breath as he worked. "This is nuts. Okay, look, here. The original file had a waveform pattern that ended at 1408. But during the live stream, it extended. There's an extra 6 seconds of something, and I didn't add it. No one did. I leaned against the desk, rubbing the back of my neck. Extra scream footage appearing from thin air, I said. Great. Call the exorcist. He didn't even react. This is her voice, he said, voice low and steady. I'm telling you, this isn't from the interview. This is after. This scream, Eric, it wasn't in the original. It's like it bled in through the speakers. I laughed, or tried to. You really think a ghost hijacked my podcast? Jamie looked up at me and his eyes weren't joking. I think whatever she was trying to say when she died didn't end there. I stood straighter. My heart thudded. Okay, I said. That's not funny. Jamie didn't even blink. I didn't do anything. I stared at it. Is that printing by itself? I asked. Jamie walked over and picked it up. His fingers trembled slightly as he read. It's a transcript. From the tape, he said. But there's a line that wasn't in it. I moved beside him, close enough to read over his shoulder. What does it say? He swallowed hard. She said, tell my son I forgive him, but someone has to tell the truth. We both froze. It's past midnight, I whispered. No one should be here. Jamie's voice was barely above a whisper. Don't open it. I shot him a look. You think it's a ghost ordering transcripts and knocking like Amazon Prime? He didn't even flinch, eyes still fixed on the door. I think we're past the point of logic, man. If it's a pissed-off listener, I'll sign an autograph and get them out of here, I said. I opened the door slowly. There's no one. And then, Jamie's voice snapped back into urgency. Eric, shut the door. Jamie was already at the desk, fingers flying across the keyboard. Check the feed. Check the cameras. Maybe we missed... Wait. He pulled up the footage. I stood beside him as the screen lit up with grainy video. There. Playback. Look. Right there. We watched. No sound, just video. A hooded black figure stood outside our door, completely still. And then, it vanished. One frame to the next. Gone. My throat went dry. That's edited, I said, trying to ground myself. Has to be. We didn't... Jamie pointed again. Zoom in. Static buzzed louder as we enhanced the frame. The figure lifted its head. For a blink, just one, we saw the face. Burned, half melted, and staring directly into the lens. I felt my stomach twist. That's her. Jamie's nod was slow, heavy. That scream was never meant for the world. I turned to the printer, heart still pounding. And now she's giving us instructions. Another sheet of paper slid out of the printer. Jamie picked it up. Riley Heller, 23 Sycamore Avenue, he read aloud. I took a step closer. Thomas Heller's son. Jamie looked up. Don't pick up. But I did. No voice. Just silence. Hello? I said. And then, a man's voice. Cold. Flat. You shouldn't have played the scream. The line dissolved into static. Then, buried in the fuzz, I heard it. A girl's voice. Fragile. Pleading. Help him, or I'll take her next. My head snapped around just in time to see the framed photo of my daughter slide off the wall and hit the floor. Face down. I didn't breathe. I stared at the GPS. 0.2 miles. It's on the left. Jamie's voice came low, hesitant. You sure you want to do this? I didn't look at him. She said, help him, or I'll take her next. That means Riley. And that means, my daughter's in this now. Jamie whispered, like he didn't want the house to hear. Place looks abandoned. I grabbed the flashlight and got out. Someone's still paying the electricity bill. Riley? Riley Heller? We need to talk about your father, about Sarah. For a moment, silence. Then the door creaked open. A pale young man, early 20s, tense as hell, peeked out. He didn't even blink. "You shouldn't be here," Riley said flatly. Jamie stepped beside me, calm but cautious. "We just want to talk. We know you're not the killer, Riley, but she's asking for something." Riley's eyes fixed on me. "You played the scream." I nodded. Felt like swallowing glass. "I did, and now my wife is dead. My daughter's next. Riley, what happened to Sarah?" A low, aching creak came from deeper in the house. Riley's eyes darted over his shoulder. "She's not done with any of us," he muttered. Jamie stepped closer. "Are you saying she's here?" Thunder cracked above. Lights in the house flickered. Then, from down the hall, we heard it. Breathing. Not normal. Not human. Wet. Guttural. Riley's voice trembled. "I told the truth once. No one listened. My dad, he took the fall. He thought it would protect me." My stomach twisted. "So he knew that you—" Riley cut me off, his voice sharper now. "I didn't kill her, but I saw who did." A photo frame fell behind him. Glass shattered. The room seemed to drop in temperature instantly. Riley's whisper was almost reverent. "She's here now. She doesn't want justice. She wants to finish the ritual." Jamie's voice cracked with panic. "What ritual?" Riley barely breathed the words. "The scream was the start. You just let it echo again." A child's laugh echoed from upstairs. Then, a door slammed shut. My heart stopped. That sounded like my daughter. Jamie turned, eyes wide. "What? No, she's at home." Riley's face turned ghost white. "No, she's not." My phone buzzed hard in my hand. An incoming FaceTime call. Unknown number. I answered, screen glitching, colors bleeding at the edges. "Emily!" I called out. The screen flickered. A live feed. My daughter, sitting alone on a dark stairwell, breathing fast. Behind her, something moved. A shadow. Her voice reached out to me, trembling. "Daddy." I can hear her screaming. Emily's voice trembled through my phone's speaker, FaceTime barely holding a signal. She was whispering, terrified. "She's in the walls. I can hear her. Moving." My heart stopped. My voice cracked as I shouted into the phone. "Emily, listen to me. Lock the door. Hide somewhere. I'm coming right now." The screen glitched. That shadow, the one behind her. It moved closer. Then, cut. Dead silence. Call dropped. "No, no!" Jamie grabbed my arm before I could spin around and bolt. "We're 30 minutes away. Eric, if you go back now, and this is what she wants," I snapped. I didn't care what the thing wanted. "Then she can take me, not her." Riley's voice was barely above a whisper. "You can't go back yet. If you leave before you understand, she'll win." I turned on him, barely holding back the urge to shake the truth out of his mouth. "Then start talking. What ritual?" Thunder rolled across the sky. The house groaned like it was remembering something terrible. Riley led us deeper into the living room. He sat down, didn't even look at me, just stared into nothing. She wasn't just murdered. Sarah, she was offered. Jamie's disbelief echoed what I was feeling. "Offered, like in a sacrifice?" Riley nodded, calm in that hollow, broken way. "It was supposed to be symbolic, a dare, a fake ritual we found online, until it worked. Something came through, something hungry." I felt cold all over. I stepped toward him. "And you let your father go down for it?" Riley's eyes flared with something between anger and regret. He chose it. He thought confessing would stop it. But it never left. Jamie flipped through a dusty notebook Riley handed him. The pages were thick with symbols, ritual circles, Latin phrases scribbled in panic. Jamie's voice wavered. "This symbol, it matches the waveform in the scream recording. That's why it drew her back. And that's when it hit me, like ice water in my lungs. I didn't just replay her voice. I reopened the gate. Riley looked at me, dead serious. And now she's using your daughter as a vessel. Jamie's laptop booted up. No one touched it. The screen flared to life on its own. Jamie froze. It's playing something. Audio burst through the speakers. Emily's voice, screaming, then whispering, then chanting. Her voice twisted through the static. Open, open, open. The blood remembers. The silence listens. The scream returns. I stumbled back like I'd been punched in the chest. That's my daughter's voice, but she's not saying that. I turned to Riley. His face had gone completely pale. He whispered it, and I could feel the truth of it sinking in like a curse. That's not her anymore. I hovered over the screen, straining to make sense of what I was hearing. What the hell is she saying? That's not Latin anymore. Jamie's fingers flew across the keys. It's an oscillating sequence. The waveform of her voice matches a ritual symbol Riley showed us. It's cycling, looping on a frequency we can't hear, but she can. I looked at Riley. He was barely whispering now, eyes sunken, voice raw. She's trying to finish what we started. The scream was just the first of 3. It's a Trinity ritual. I turned toward him, trying to keep my voice steady. 3 recordings? He nodded slowly, like each word cost him something. 1 to summon, 1 to bind, and 1 to break the body. My phone buzzed, a new message, another file, no name attached. I stared at the screen, heart pounding. She's sending them to me, next steps already begun. We played the file. Emily appeared. Her eyes rolled back, whispering in reverse. The sound made my skin crawl. Blood knows the gate. My voice is the key. The old name awakens. Jamie froze beside me. She's being used as a transmitter. My throat tightened. The guilt surged up again. I made her the antenna. I let that scream echo through the world, and it bounced back into her. Riley's voice cut through sharply. You need to destroy the source file, all of it, before the third sound goes out. Jamie shook his head, frowning at the screen. It's already been mirrored, backed up, re-uploaded. Eric, we've gone viral. We can't put the scream back in the box. The lights flickered. The air thickened. A static hum built like pressure in my skull. Then we have to cut the signal, before she completes the ritual inside my daughter. Daddy, do you want to hear the third scream? Jamie slammed the laptop shut. She's going to broadcast the final one herself. Riley turned to me, his face pale. And when she does, it won't just be Emily. Anyone who hears it could become next. My phone rang. The caller ID made my stomach drop. Emily's room. My hands shook as I answered. She's calling from the house. Silence on the line. Then I heard it, my own voice, but twisted. Broken, whispering. It's already inside you. I stepped through the front door of the house, every inch of me trembling. Emily, sweetheart, nothing. Just a faint static hum. The lights flickered overhead. The music box slowed to a crawl. Jamie followed behind, his voice barely above a whisper. She's upstairs. But Eric, something's wrong with the air in here. It's like it's folding. I didn't know what he meant, but he was right. I could feel her, close. She's close. We climbed the stairs. Each creaking step made it worse. The low buzz, it grew louder the higher we went. Behind us, Riley stood frozen at the bottom of the stairs. His voice cut through the noise. If you hear her say your name, don't answer. That's how she marks you. I paused, foot hovering over the next step. How do you know that? He looked up at me, haunted. Because I did once, and she never left me. Emily's bedroom door creaked open. She was there, sitting on the bed, staring straight ahead. Her smile was wrong, wide, empty. She looked right at me. Hi, Daddy. I stepped in slowly, heart caught in my throat. I'm here, Em. I'm gonna get you out of this. Her voice changed, echoing, stretched thin across something ancient. Out of what, Daddy? You made this. From the hallway, Jamie whispered, Eric, I don't think that's her anymore. I dropped to my knees in front of her. Emily, baby, look at me. Her head snapped to the side, too fast, too sharp. Her voice deepened, a layered tone, two voices in one. He offered her scream to strangers, 1,000,000 ears, 1,000,000 keys. Jamie scrolled through the waveforms on his phone, his fingers shaking. It's not just a haunting, it's a signal. It's spreadable. Then Riley's voice shot in from the hall, frantic. She's almost finished the Trinity. Once she hits the final pitch, the third scream, it won't stay in this house. My mouth went dry. What do we do? Emily's eyes rolled back. Her mouth opened, but she didn't scream. Static came out, a monstrous frequency that rattled the room like an earthquake. Jamie dropped to his knees, covering his ears. It's broadcasting now. Jamie's phone blew up, notifications flooding the screen. I saw it. All the podcast platforms lighting up with the same title. Unreleased, the final tape. I whispered, stunned. That's not real. I didn't upload it. Emily looked right at me, her grin cutting deep into something human. But you wanted it to be heard. That was enough. My laptop flicked on by itself. Playback started. A scream built, slow and slicing, rising like it had no end. Riley screamed over the noise. Shut it down! Jamie's face went pale. We can't. It's live streaming. Audio is playing from multiple devices throughout the house. Jamie was typing furiously, his fingers flying across the keyboard. His eyes, wild, desperate, tracked lines of code I couldn't begin to follow. It's on every feed, Eric. Your podcast site, YouTube, even accounts you never set up. I stood behind the glass, staring at Emily. Or what used to be Emily. My whole body trembled. I didn't post it. I swear to God, I didn't. Jamie didn't even look up. It doesn't need you anymore. Jamie glanced at the screen. The message read, Welcome back, listener. He whispered it, like he didn't want the house to hear. It's counting each person who hears it. From the corner, Riley stepped out of the shadows, that same dead look in his eyes. And when it hits 8 million, it's over. That's the threshold. I spun on him. Threshold for what, Riley? You keep talking in riddles. He didn't blink. For her to finish crossing over, and for the rest of us to burn. Jamie rushed to check the camera feeds. Who the hell? We didn't call anyone, but I knew. I did. 3 years ago. The front door creaked open. A woman stepped in, wrapped in scarves, her eyes glowing faintly red in the candlelight. May. Close your machines, she said. She's riding the wires. I stared at her, heart catching in my chest. May? From the Red Pines case? She nodded. You weren't ready to hear the truth then, but now you've fed her, opened the ritual again. And this time, she's not alone. Jamie scoffed, halfway between tech logic and terror. You're saying this is a ritual? Like a summoning spell? May walked the room like she'd done this before, like she was tracing runes I couldn't see. Rituals don't always need candles. Sometimes they just need an audience. And you gave her millions. Riley's voice cracked. She made me watch. The day she died. I heard her scream once in real time. You just made the whole world replay it. May turned to me, her tone razor sharp. You want to save your daughter? Then stop counting plays and start counting truths. Who killed her? Who buried her story? Because she's coming for all of you until the real name is spoken out loud. That song, Emily's music box. She started humming it from the corner, slowed down, played backward, a broken lullaby. Then she spoke, eyes still closed, still not hers. "Play it backwards, Daddy." I froze. "What?" Emily smiled, if you could call it that. "Your tape, the interview. Reverse it, and ask him again." Jamie leaned toward May. "What happens if we do?" Her voice went cold. "You'll hear the voice that wasn't supposed to answer, and once it does, it won't go back." Reversed audio. "Riley." I turned to him, my blood running cold. "Why would she say your name?" "She said your name, Riley." My voice was cold, not angry, not afraid, just hollow. Riley backed away from me, eyes wide. "You heard it wrong." But Jamie was already on it, eyes locked on the screen, fingers dancing. "No," she said it. Clear as hell, reversed or not. May stood still, watching Riley like she already knew where this was going. "Time to tell them what you did." Emily humming again. This time the melody was perfect. Too perfect. Eerie in its precision. I turned to Riley, shaking. "You told me your father killed her, that he confessed, that he was proud of it." Riley's voice cracked. He was proud, but not because he did it. He was proud because he saved me. Jamie stopped, just stared. Oh my God. Riley was unraveling fast now. His words spilled out like he'd been choking on them for years. "I didn't mean to. I lost control. She found out what I did to the others. She said she'd tell. I didn't know what to do." The floor dropped out beneath me. "You killed her?" May's voice came like a whisper, but it sliced through everything. "And the father took the blame. Thought it would end there." Jamie turned to me, slow, almost accusing. "But you brought it back. You put her scream in a loop, without even knowing the truth." Jamie pulls up the original audio file. A strange artifact, 1 hour missing. Like a jump cut. Jamie leaned in, narrowing his eyes at the waveform. "Wait, this file, your interview with the father, it's missing exactly 59 minutes and 58 seconds. It cuts between two identical lines like nothing happened." I blinked, unsure of what I was even looking at anymore. "I didn't edit it." Jamie didn't look away from the screen. "Yeah, but someone did, before it ever got to you." May whispered, almost reverent. "That hour is where the truth lives. You've got to find it, before she finishes her tally." Emily sang, soft and terrifying. 7,998,663. I felt a fresh panic rise in my throat. She's counting down to her release. Jamie's fingers were a blur again. "I'm going through server backups. Maybe I can reconstruct the missing audio. Wait, there's a flagged file." Riley's voice came low, defeated. "He asked me if I was sorry. I said yes. That's what you should have played, Eric. Not the scream." May looked at me, eyes steady. "Play the full hour. Let the world hear the truth. Her justice doesn't come from vengeance. It comes from being known." Jamie hits play on the recovered audio. Static at first. Then, clear audio begins. The father's voice came through the speakers, raw and worn. "If you're listening to this, you're already cursed. But not by me. Not by her. By the lie you chose to believe." I stood there, stunned. It hit me like a cold slap. He wanted the full story out, all this time. Emily starts to convulse. Lights flicker. A wind rushes in from nowhere. And then Emily spoke. But it wasn't her voice. It wasn't her. "You open the door, now let me walk through." I watched my daughter's body tremble, her limbs twitching like something inside her was trying to get out. "Emily, baby, listen to me. Just hold on. We're so close." Jamie was next to me, fingers flying across the keyboard. "I'm almost done rebuilding the last 40 minutes of the missing audio. But if this hits 8 million plays first..." May stood still, calm. but something in her tone made my blood run cold. She'll fully manifest. No more Emily. No more choices. Just reckoning. Phone buzzes. I check the screen. 7,999,844 views. The number's rising. Fast. I turned to Jamie. How long do we have? He looked up, sweating now. Maybe 5 minutes. 10 tops. Depends how viral this gets. Reddit just picked it up. Riley was barely holding himself together. His voice shook more than his hands. You can't play the tape. If you do, everyone will know. What I did. I'll go to prison. Worse. I stared at him, everything burning behind my eyes. You should go to prison. May's voice came in just above a whisper. But this isn't about vengeance. It's about truth. Either you speak it, or she will. Jamie clicks. Final audio piece snaps into place. He looks up, dead serious. Jamie looked at me like he was handing me a loaded weapon. It's ready. All of it. You press play and the world hears the real story. The scream, the silence, the confession. Everything. I stared at the soundboard in front of me. I exploited her once. Turned pain into profit. But this time, maybe this time, I can make it right. Riley's voice cracked. The kid was falling apart. Please. I didn't mean to kill her. I panicked. She fought back. She bit me. I snapped. And my dad, he just stood there. Then he cleaned it up and said he did it. He gave up his life. Jamie's voice dropped. And you let him. May stepped closer, looking at me like I was the last match left in the dark. Decide now. Her scream was a curse. But the truth? That can be justice. My hand hovered over the broadcast button. Emily turned her head toward me, her eyes glowing faintly. Her voice wasn't hers anymore. It was layered, echoed, wrong. Say it, Eric. Say what really happened. Say what you did. Say what he did. Or I finish it for you. I slammed the button. I leaned into the mic, hands shaking. This is Eric Vale, and what you're about to hear is the full, uncut interview with Marcus Heller, the man I thought was a murderer, the man who protected his son, the man I failed, and the woman we all failed. Her name was Adrienne Lowe, and this is her truth. The missing hour begins to play. Static, then the father's voice. Marcus's voice filled the air, tired but steady. Wasn't me. I saw her on the floor, blood everywhere. Riley was shaking. I knew then. I couldn't let this be his end. So I said the words. I signed the statement. I told them what they wanted. Because fathers protect. I turned to Jamie, my throat catching. He loved his son so much. He gave up everything. And I turned his sacrifice into a viral clip. Emily suddenly stops shaking. The hum vanishes. She looks around, like waking from a dream. She blinked, confused. Her voice, finally hers again. Dad? I rushed to her. I'm here. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. Radio signal interference begins. Jamie's monitor flashes a live stream alert. Chat explodes. Jamie's voice cut through the confusion. Eric, someone just hijacked our feed. New voice over the stream. Deep, young, male. You think that's where it ends? That scream was only part of it. She wasn't the first one I hurt. My heart stopped. I turned to Jamie, to May, numb. Who is that? May looked like she'd seen death walk in. That's not Riley. Jamie's face was lit up by the monitor glow when he turned to me. I isolated the voice from the live feed. Eric, it's not Riley, not Marcus, not a playback glitch. This voice, it's new. My throat felt like sandpaper. But it knows things. Knows Adrienne. Knew about Emily. About me. Jamie's expression went grim. Worse, it said Adrienne wasn't the first victim. From the couch, Emily's voice cut through the air. Soft, shaken. Dad, that voice? It's still in here. Not inside me, but around, like fog. It's watching. I looked at Jamie. Can you trace it? His fingers flew across the keys. I'm trying, but it bounced through 3 anonymous nodes, all public servers. One in, wait. Jamie froze. That voice came from a maximum security psych ward, Northern Ridge. I felt my whole body stiffen. Marcus said something in the tape. She wasn't the first girl he hurt. Riley had a record when he was 13. It was sealed. Emily's voice dropped low, almost like remembering a nightmare. He broke her arm, that first girl, then lied. She never told, and now she's waiting. Phone rings. I pick it up. It's May. She sounded breathless. May's voice rushed through the speaker. Eric, you have to listen. That voice? It's not of this world. Not exactly. You opened something, yes, but now it's using this podcast, your signal, your platform. It wants an audience. I felt my heart sink. It's feeding on the attention. May didn't hesitate. And when enough people listen, when the pain becomes entertainment again, it won't just be one spirit. It'll be many. Jamie clenched his jaw. Eric, we have to kill the stream. My voice came out quieter than I expected. If we pull the plug, no one hears the truth. But if we let it go on, they'll hear something else. Emily suddenly gasped and clutched her chest. She's back! Jamie turned to me, eyes sharp. You said she wanted justice, not chaos. That voice, that's not her anymore. It's something else, something older, a parasite. I took a breath. Then we find Riley. We make him talk, on air, right now, and we end it with truth, not views. Jamie and I knock on a heavy door. It creaks open. Inside, Riley Heller, hollow-eyed, sitting in a silent room. Riley looked up, cold and tired. I told you everything. Why are you here? I stood tall. Because you didn't. That first girl, who was she? Then he said it, barely audible. I thought if I let Marcus take the fall, it would go away, but she's not gone. None of them are. And now, Riley's eyes widened in terror. Oh God, she's here! She found me! From somewhere behind me, I heard Emily scream, Dad! We began this journey chasing views. We ended it chasing justice. Some of you heard everything. Some of you wish you hadn't. Jamie's voice came from off mic, gentle. You did the right thing in the end. I paused. Doesn't erase what I did in the beginning. No, he said, but it gave her voice back. Their voices, he was right. Riley confessed before the signal cut. We recovered just enough from the corrupted feed. The police acted fast, but it wasn't enough. Not enough to save him, or stop what came for him. But that scream, it wasn't Adrienne's. It wasn't human. It was a ritual, a warning, and maybe a door. From across the room, Emily spoke. She's quiet now. I don't hear her like before, but I feel her sometimes, like she's watching to see what I'll become. I nearly choked up. You're nothing like me. She smiled, but it didn't quite reach her eyes. I know. Jamie set something down. We got a cease and desist this morning. Lawyers don't want this final episode released. Too dangerous, too supernatural. I didn't answer right away. Then, we're releasing it anyway. Jamie blinked. We are? I nodded slowly. They tried to silence the scream once. That's how this all began. We don't repeat that mistake. I click upload. A soft digital ping. The file goes live. Studio silence. Then faint static. Growing. A whisper in the background. Unintelligible layered voices. Jamie frowned. Did you hear that? I leaned in, listening. Yeah, that wasn't in the recording. Emily slowly turned toward the mic. Her eyes blank for just a second. Then she said it, voice soft. but not quite hers. Another voice is coming.